Is Jay-Z the as great of a investor as Warren Buffett, or worthy to be in an interview with him, or was that just Jay-Z's like this? He's the Jigga Man.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Hove and what?
yeah, Hova. Yeah.
That was such a funny interview too, because you see these guys and they're so, I mean, they're from different eras, right? Like their
hmm
upbringing was so different, that contrast. And then you see Jay-Z just giving Warren Buffett so much respect in the interview. It was amazing for me to see that, because a lot of people would think of him as kind of like, more of a rugged individual. And he's like telling Warren Buffett, like, wow, like what you've done is amazing.
hmm
I think Jay-Z is like on a whole another level. It's anytime that you have an artist that has had that sort of longevity,
hmm
they've got to be great at what they do. And I think he's a very smart businessman as well. Like some celebrities might not be great at business, but Jay-Z, I don't know too much about him, but from what I have seen, I think he's been very, very good about strategically doing business things,
hmm
even with his collaborations. Like he's had a career that's lasted how many decades now? And
Well, I think his first album came out in 1996. And he, because I know a little bit about him because I read a book that was tracking not his autobiography, but the one that was tracking his like rise as a businessman and basically the business angle. I went from the corner street to the corner office. Kind of
yeah,
goofy, kind of a goofy title, but you get the idea. How but he yeah, in 1996, I think it was his first Reasonable Doubt, his first album. I think that's the title of
amazing.
it. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, he's had longevity, but I mean, I'm just him as like an investor. I mean, because his last album, I think, was with he talked about like just basically, I think it's called The Story of OJ, where it was like he was like, like what's better than blowing all your money at a strip club? Credit. And then he's talking about all the art that he's bought and stuff like that, and how that'll be. So I guess he is believe the hype that people give him for being a
I
great
would
investor.
I would think so. I think just
Mm-hmm.
to become that successful, you've got to have a business mind.
Mm-hmm.
And a business mind is kind of like an investor mind, right? It's like some of these entrepreneurs, like Sarah Blakely, for example. She's the lady that came up with Spanx.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on an episode about her story right now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very top of mind for me. So she took $5,000. That's all the savings that she had. She came up with this idea for Spanx, and she went through all these trials and tribulations. It was so hard for her to make this idea become a reality, but she persevered, worked like a mad woman doing it. And throughout the whole process, she still was selling like fax machines door to door. So she's Monday to Friday selling fax machines door to door, which is just a brutal job. And then on the weekends and at night, she's working on, making her this dream become a reality by selling this Spanx product. So she turned $5,000 into 1.3 billion, you can say, which is like her net worth today. So yeah, I feel like entrepreneurs, business people, I feel like it's usually not an accident when you achieve that level of success. It all comes down to investing your resources well, investing your money well by investing it in yourself and starting a business. Or in Jay Z's case, like making great content, investing his resources, his creativity into a way that can yield the maximum type of results.
Yeah. Another thing that was funny in the book was that they were talking about how he would cross promote, like in his songs, he would reference the Rockaware, which was his clothing line with Dim and Dash, and that was one of the reasons like he was able to. Oh, so you got to wear Rockaware to be like Jay Z the Jigga Man. That was the explanation in the book. It was an interesting book. You can check it out. But if you look up like Jay Z, Empire State, I think it was Empire State of Mind, like going from corner of the street to corner office. Look up that. I'm sure it'll pop up somewhere on Amazon or Audible or something. It was interesting.
Oh,
But
I'll check it out. I'm always interested in kind of people to do more podcast episodes and stories about. I'll have a look.
yeah, I think he would. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting for you because again, this is a guy that really shouldn't have been as successful as he was at such a young age. For from not even just as a rap artist, but yeah, always had from the get go having the business mind. Um, it was interesting because he broke down part of his success was having all these mentors along the way, or partners or mentors, and it was like he learned from them and then surpassed them.
Wow.
Yeah, like yeah, Jazzo. I haven't thought about this in a while, but Jazzo, who was the rap artist who is only a few years older than him, but he was like they were trying to make him another Will Smith, a Big Willie style. And so he learned some of the business from there, but, learned from his mistakes and outgrew him as a rap artist. And then, my understanding, and then Damon Dash, Damon Dash, his business partner, was a businessman. And then he, learned, took what he wanted and left the rest and surpassed him in a certain way. And there's an interesting part of the book where I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not cross-checked it, but they were in an elevator together, and Jay-Z was dressed up in a suit with a overcoat, and Damon Dash was still dressed in his kind of like a, like for a better word, a kid. I think that's what they were going for, and you could just see the difference between the two. They had nothing to talk about. Yeah, that was an interesting thesis in the book. Or that when I was in college. Yeah, worth your time. So
it's so amazing that he was also just to kind of mention that as well. Like the brands that he chose, like Rockaware, was very much on brand for him. It was all stuff that he truly believed in, stuff that he like that made sense. He wasn't out there promoting something that made zero sense for him to be talking about. So that authenticity principle is also very powerful.
Yeah, I mean, Rockefeller, that was the company, Rockefeller. And yeah, all this, yeah, it's very well. Maybe in hindsight, you're realizing it now when you're writing the book and you do all these interviews, and you look back. Oh, like John Rockefeller, Rockefeller Plaza, Rockefeller. Like it's interesting. Like those layers.